All the sides switch everything.
Best of 3 games of 25 points, 8 goals. It's not going to be a full game.
folks. We are coming live to you from the beautiful San Francisco Bay Area, where the 6th Carrom World Cup is underway, and we are watching the men's team event finals between India and Sri Lanka. This is the doubles match between Aditya and Sandeep of India facing off against Nishanta and Kevin Nimnath of Sri Lanka. I'm your commentator Bala Parthasarathi. I'm here with my co-host Rahul Tekalor.
Good evening to all of folks around the world, in the Bay Area, and everywhere else that are keenly following this game. This is going to be a very interesting game, Bala. What do you think?
That's right, Rahul. They're off to a pretty good start already with Aditya and Sandeep 7 and Nishanta and then already on the scoreboard. It's still very early in the game, but I think it's going to be one explosive match to watch.
So you agree that typically all the four players are generally more on the offensive style of play, and we expect to see a rather pretty dynamic game. Defense would be, I think, sparingly used.
I believe so. Aditya and Sandeep are probably the two most attacking players on the Indian squad, and world champion Nishanta Fernando is also known for his fireworks on the board. I think Nimnath is probably the relatively less known celebrity amongst the star-studded battlefield.
That's right. I was just going to ask you more about Nimnath and what kind of maybe talk a little bit about his game, because I think kind of the world knows about the other two players, and that Nimnath's on this world stage. Or do you think what do you expect from him?
Yeah, he has pleasantly surprised a lot of people in this tournament. He's obviously one of the top players in Sri Lanka. He's on the national squad. I believe he's Sri Lanka ranked number 2. And perhaps for this year he's ranked even higher than the formidable Nishanta Fernando himself. And so far in this tournament, he has entirely lived up to his reputation and ranking. And he has performed really well. But the bomb coin is a problem. It's important to defuse those bombs, otherwise any kind of position will be not entirely capitalized by Sandeep.
Went a little modest on that bomb shot. Expecting to have gone a little bit more.
Wonder what happened. Oh, he passed his turn.
It's a very delicately placed position. He wants to.
There we go. Cat and mouse game.
What's the thought process here in terms of defense? Are you really trying to work a way to kind of get a favorable situation, or are they just trying to defend and find a way to see who's playing first?
Yeah, this is a very typical move in doubles, especially when you're down to the last one white and one black. You typically try to take the coin over to the opposite side. Here we go, and unfortunately this by Vive, yielding the board to the Sri Lankans. So what ends up happening is, if you are a player sitting here, any coin in this zone is considered difficult. So in doubles, that's what people do. If any coin is out in the open and your team doesn't have a finish, imagine it's Sandeep Dive sitting here and there is a coin over here. And if the opponent wants to defend it, they just have to take it over here. As long as this coin moves from here to there, then Sandeep does not have a clear finish. So doubles is a game of strategy and patience, and anybody who slips on either of those dimensions is bound to pay the price. pretty slow start so far. It's a long marathon. However, this is not a full game. These team championship finals are played for best of 3 sets. However, each set is played for either 25 points or a maximum of 8 goals.
It's a big difference in the way you approach the game. When it's an 8-board game versus a full game. I believe in typically full game, slightly stronger opponents have a more advantage, or at least back themselves to come back from a lead. I think the 8-board format kind of levels the playing field, and between a slightly stronger opponent, they have, if in case the less favored team makes a good lead, and they fancy themselves to defend it to the ruling.
Perhaps that's true, Rahul. However, I'm not sure if I would go as far as to say that any particular style of player has a distinct advantage or disadvantage in the 8-board match format versus a full game. It is just a slightly different game that requires a slightly different approach to the board. So as long as we are able to throttle that strategy, depending on the format, I think it is a level playing field either way.
That's an interesting thought. Very good to know. They are different. Remain in the position and typically don't want to touch the center cluster. They need to have a clear means to finish. That's the level at which these players play. If they don't,
folks. And so we have 4 boards completed with Aditya and Sandeep up to a healthy lead of 13, while Nishanta and Nimnet are still at 2. However, it is important to note that both sides have won 2 boards each, although the score kind of is misleading.
That's right, Bala. I think the Nitya and Sandeep have managed to keep the board under check when they lost the board. Which is then give a bit more points than they would have liked. Two boards that they have. It's all not lost. Nishanta has break here. It's a good chance to kind of
Oh, that is
cut down on the lead.
this coin is a little bit difficult.
Whites are really stuck at the base. That's going to be the key here.
I think he was hoping to get the striker back there,
Yes.
which didn't happen.
And I think that's now converting the position back towards the Indians here. Take advantage.
कमेंट्री सही नहीं आ रही होगी सही
The fact that the white
कमेंट्री की आवाज़ सही नहीं आ रही जो स्ट्रीम चल रही है
blocks will give a lot of confidence.
दो अलग अलग हो रहे हैं हाँ
He might witness a beautiful shot where Dive might try to push the
बैकग्राउंड
black down, which did not happen. Now Nimnat can potentially finish the board. This would be a pretty important board for them to take.
Glance off the white here.
I believe that's the plan. So he does.
Nicely done.
ये देखें
Oh,
not as
Pressure right there, Bala.
Because of the
Players.
it's an expensive
headset
miss by Nimnat.
you show that
Opportunity there to get a big board.
that might is picking
And you know,
the
in a
audio.
situation like this,
Control
Rahul,
that.
if you look like
That
the
mic is
marks
picking
of
the
that
audio
coin,
and
so Aditya and
not
Sandeep on
allowing
the
you
board.
to
If you look at this,
How would I know that?
this particular coin that Aditya has is a bomb. You can use it
Yes.
to release the
We're
other.
gonna witness how he use that.
Monitor not This is how you would hear back, but you need to put a headphone to
background noise will get you both need headsets in basically because there's a whole ton of background noise and hence your volume isn't.
I'm speaking of
I think 5 boards up. Aditya and Sandeep, the healthy lead of 12 points. We saw in the previous board there was a good opportunity to cut the lead and get closer. And I think we'll see there. But those kind of boards are very crucial.
Yeah, the score might very well have been 11 and 9, or 11 and 13 rather. Instead, it became 14 and 2. It's a beautiful shot by Nimnet. Not sure if he quite has a clear path for the queen there. It's high risk.
Coins just gliding nicely into the pockets. Perfect speed. It's just a treat to watch. safely plants the queen, makes it hard.
Here you go. A bomb attempt by Arif.
Goes a little mellow on the bomb, decides not to use it.
And Arif is one of the finalists for tomorrow's singles World Championship event. He is favored by many to be the world champion this time. Oh, I'm sorry. This is Aditya who's playing. And he lost to Arif in the semi-finals of singles earlier today.
Well, another example of what you're talking about, the number of coins doesn't matter here. Look at what Nishanta has to follow after this. Has the ability to finish here if Aditya is not very careful.
That is correct, Rahul. And now you have a reasonably clear board for Nishanta. However, that's an interesting choice because he may risk blocking Nimnet on that pocket.
And Sandeep is going to go for the kill there.
And so he does.
And I think that was at least from the commentator's view, I think that was a strategical error, would you say, from Nishanta?
I believe so. It's one thing that you miss executing on the shot, but you got to plan for the worst case scenario in case what you're trying doesn't work out. Do you have insurance? And especially in doubles, it's really important because you're not just playing for yourself. You got to have a good understanding with your partner, and what their turn they're going to play is also a huge factor in our own choices. Nimnat taking the break. So far, this match has been one-sided, at least from the scoreboard perspective. These boards are capped at 8 boards maximum. That means that it is necessary for Nimnat and Nishanta to win this board and by at least 8 points. If they score anything less than 8 in this board, the set would go to Sandeep and Aditya.
This is that brush on the queen. I think the Indians will try to reduce, and the commentator's curse right there.
Nishanta appears to play in such a hurry, but I guess it's not about how fast or slow you play, it's more about how rhythmic. Look at that beautiful shot.
That's just amazing ability to see those kind of angles and then to execute it.
Here we have Sandeep. Doesn't have the clearest path here, so he's going to use it as a bomb. And there might be a slight wrong pair on those blacks on the top left. Nicely clears it.
I think the goal of the Indians would be to not concede a big board here, and I think they are well on the course to do exactly that. Don't see a straightforward finish here for Nimnet, which means Aditya would get another turn at least to reduce another couple of points, and it's going to be the break on their favor than last board. It could end up.
Beautifully played by Nimnet.
Do you see a path to finish here, Bala?
Well, not for Nimnet. For Aditya, yes. And here we go. Aditya plays a beautiful stroke to push that white over to Nishanta's defense. And yes, fairly straight coin. And he takes 2 more points for Team India.
So that's the first set in the favor of Team India.
First set goes to Team India. And it looks like in the other matches, India is dominating as well.
That's right, Bala. We have Arif playing Anas here in the singles lineup for the team event. Arif enjoying a comfortable lead of 23-8 after 6 boards. And I think
That's right. It's a best of 3 matches in a total matchup between two teams, India and Sri Lanka. It is played as 3 matches, 2 singles and 1 doubles, and each of those are played as best of 3 sets. And the singles matches are played between Srinivas Komaravelli of India and Shahid Hilmi of Sri Lanka, where at the moment Srinivas has a comfortable lead of 19-1 against Shahid after 5 boards, and in the second singles, Muhammad Arif of India has a very comfortable lead against Anas Ahmed of Sri Lanka with a great lead of 23-8. And in this match, so far, India has taken the first set, and Sri Lanka really needs to pull some miracles out of the hat now, otherwise the Indians are going to run away with the title.
that's right, Bala. I think they have to pull the second set throughout all 3 formats here, I think.
It's important for viewers to know that the Sri Lankans are the defending champions in this format. The last World Cup was held in Korea in 2018, the 5th Carrom World Cup, and in there, Sri Lanka pulled off a massive upset by defeating Team India in the finals. And for the first time in their history, they reached to the top of the podium in an international Carrom tournament where India was also playing. And this time, they are attempting to defend their title, but so far, the Indians are keeping it very, very tight across all 3 matches.
That's right, Bala. I think, as you put it across, it's a big upset in 2018. And so far, doesn't seem like there's
That
any
was it.
sign of Indians giving up that opportunity this time around. Really have to find some magic here, the Sri Lankans. It's not going to be easy. The Indian contingent is a very strong one, very tough one.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Dual intent shot right there.
And Nimnet plays with a scissor grip, very characteristic of a lot of Sri Lankan players, including Nishanta himself, who used to play with that grip up until a few years ago. And then a few years back, he changed his grip to an index finger grip. It looks like one of the semifinals, one of the singles matches has concluded with Arif defeating Anas Ahmed of Sri Lanka. I'm sorry, that was just the first set. It's still in progress. Anas has won Arif has beaten Anas in the first set, and they're just starting the second set. And here we have board number 2 of set number 2 in the doubles match between Nishanta and Nimnet of Sri Lanka versus Aditya and Sandeep of India. They are entering the scores in USCA's self-service Tech 2.0 software, which allows fans worldwide to keep track of all the matches and all the scores board by board.
Yes, Bala, that I think is a very amazing initiative from the USCA team to be able to get away with paper and make it comfortable and bring all the scores, the convenience of the players and in their devices, and promote viewership and followership across the world.
That's right, Rahul. USCA's goal is to promote the game, and while it might mean different things to different people, in addition to getting more players to pick up the game as well as more people to play better, another dimension to their charter is to elevate Carrom in the mainstream world of professional sports, which requires various federations of the Carrom associations around the world to work towards modernizing the game by embracing technology and getting more visibility for Carrom in major media outlets and doing more such broadcasting and televising of the major matches to get more viewership for Carrom as a professional sport.
That's right, Bala. I think in this regard, I think Bay Area Carrom Association has been really thankful for USCA to be partnering with them. And I think it's been at least about 2 years or so, at least in the Bay Area Carrom, since we've used paper and pen to write a score. We've gone completely software to use for scoring, right? And I think that's an amazing opportunity there for the rest of the world to follow and move along to embrace technology in Carrom.
That's right, Rahul. Now, returning to the board here, a beautiful glance double touch by Nimnath.
I made it look so easy, but it's not. I can tell you that. Tried that multiple
Look at
times.
this. If he takes this coin here, they'll get a huge board of 10 points.
And he does.
He does it. That was much needed. They have to win this set.
That's right. I think the hope is to win this set and carry that momentum forward into set 3 and try to turn this around for the Lankans here.
That's right. And folks, for those of you who are just tuning in, we are coming live to you from the beautiful San Francisco Bay Area, where the 6th Carrom World Cup is taking place at the India Community Center in the city of Milpitas. 18 countries are participating in this event across 7 different formats of the game, and this is the team event format in the men's division, and we are watching the one of the 3 matches in the men's team events, which is the doubles between Sri Lanka and India. And the organizers would like to thank all the sponsors who have generously supported this event. SYNCO for being a great partner for the event and the organizers, as well as for sponsoring the beautiful World Cup Special Edition Carrom boards. Core Hive, Trinamics, Carrom Central, Verizon, Agilicis, Sunray, Cell Revolution, P&G Jewelers, State Bank of India, California, as well as many others, and all the private and individual donors and patrons who have generously opened their wallets to bring this prestigious event to the USA.
That's right, Bala. Long list of sponsors. There's never enough to bring an event like the World Cup to the Bay Area. It's one of the most premium and most expensive venues, I would say, in the whole of US and probably even in the whole of world, right? It's one of the most expensive areas, and thanks to the sponsors, we're able to make this event happen at such a grand scale.
That's right, Rahul. You know, Carrom is still in its nascent state as a sport. There's not as much money in Carrom yet, and putting on a show like this, where we have to host almost 200 players from 17 or 18 different countries for a whole week, is no mean feat. It takes money and a lot of coordination, and the organizers would, in addition to thanking all the sponsors and donors, They would also like to thank all the organizers and volunteers who have been tirelessly working hard over the last several months to make this event successful. Here we have Nishanta going for a double, and he does. Once he pockets it,
That's a very uncharacteristic miss. Don't see those a lot from Nishanta.
and Sandeep would most likely defend one of the blacks.
Typically, you want to hold that coin back in doubles. Could be useful in defense, but Sandeep thinks otherwise. It's nicely
Beautiful.
done.
Now he has to defend it. He will just push it over here.
As expected, shielding it behind the black. And Aditya is going to try to circle the black around to the opposite end. She does. And this is going to go on for at least a few more turns.
It'll go on until one of the team either misses successfully defending the opponent's coin, or one of the defended coins gets so close to the frame that it becomes indefensible, forcing the opponent's hand to go for the kill. So these guys take great care in making sure that the defended coin stays at least a little bit far from the pocket. See, exactly like this. Now this black over here is not exactly in a defensible position.
That's right. And there's a very crucial defense now for Nishanta here. And that might not cut it. It could cost them the board, and it does.
See, that's the risk with this defense. It's super important to take great care to defend the opponent's piece in such a way that it doesn't get stuck too close to the frame. If it does, then in the next turn your partner will not be able to play defense. The only type of defense they can play is to bring one of your own coins in front of that coin to block it, which may not be always possible.
That's right, and you could see that there with Nishanta having to do that extra work of bringing that white around and costing him the board.
That's right, Rahul. You know, doubles in Carrom is less like Carrom and more like chess. A lot of it is about the sequencing of shots and understanding your partner's style, current form, expectations, all of those.
That's right, and I think each player typically has a role, and depending on the break, the first player after the break has a different role as compared to the fourth player who's going to be playing. If he gets a turn, so playing to your role and playing to your capabilities, playing to the position, and playing to your partner's strengths and weaknesses is of utmost importance in doubles.
That's right, Rahul. And in fact, I'd like to quote something that Aditya told me earlier today when I was interviewing him for his semifinals against Arif. And he said something that really resonated with me. He mentioned that all these players, whether it is singles or doubles, they communicate with their partners and opponents by way of selecting the shots that they do. They don't speak. They're not allowed to talk to each other on the board. But their striker actually speaks Carrom language.
That's a
Selecting certain
beautiful
coins,
lap.
by selecting certain coins and playing it a certain way, they are non-verbally communicating with their partners and opponents. And that really was eye-opening for me. I never thought of it like that.
That's right, Bala. I've heard that too. Asked this question many a times. They said, I can figure out what my partner is doing from the way he's selecting the coins. Meanwhile, Sandeep, they were just cleaning up the board. Some excellent shots there to clear the board.
was a show of aggression, which apparently has done the job of rattling their opponents. They are back with a bang, reducing the gap, which is not something the Sri Lankans are looking for at this time. They desperately need to win this game.
That's right, and that's a very important board for the Indians to come back. Don't want be chasing a big lead. Makes it hard to catch up. But I think there was a timely board, and I think it was perfectly timed aggression from Sandeep Dive. He recognized an opportunity to capitalize, and he went for it. There's a couple of interesting shots there that turned the board in their favor and forcing an error on the Sri Lankans.
And just like that, we have a level scorecard, 10 each after 4 boards in the doubles match of the team event finals in the men's division at the 6th Carrom World Cup happening in Bay Area, California from November 10th until November 16th.
A very good break from Dive here. Covers the queen. I think is positioned excellently here to either go for a finish or capitalize and make it comfortable for his partner.
A shot.
It's brilliantly done, and that's unfortunate there. But does the job of blocking.
That's right. Kevin attempted to push this a little further.
And coming back to the point I was making earlier, every player has a role in doubles, and the role here for Nimnet is to make sure his partner gets a turn in these kind of situations, and which he does, or at least tries to.
Beautifully done. And Aditya, that was a beautiful defense to push those blacks down to the base, making it difficult for Nishanta.
I think there was dual intent there to make the black difficult for Nishanta and potentially give him some space to play the follow if needed, but he chooses not to do that.
Nicely done. Now Nishanta has a whole bunch of coins to clear.
Trying to knock a few blacks away.
So he is keeping this black right here so that he can play a negative shot on it to push that black in front of the white. And he misses it.
The intent was right, but the execution not so.
Exactly. It was a desperate situation. Desperate times call for desperate measures, and Nishanta was forced to opt for a high risk, high reward option, which, as the name implies, works in your favor if you execute it right. Otherwise, you pay a pretty hefty price.
That's right. It's high risk because you have to play a minus cut and push the black precisely close to the pocket. Had that paid off, I think he would have had a support to play those two difficult coins and clear the thumb and potentially even get the board, or at least get his partner a turn. But that's the margin of error that these players have to deal with at this level, right?
Here we go. Nimnat Kevin to break.
A very important break here for Nimnet and the Sri Lankan team. Really have to reply back to Dive's amazing break with one of their own here to cut down the lead, if possible even take a lead with a big board. Don't see any straightforward path here.
So in this format, there are 3 matches to be played in parallel between the two teams, India and Sri Lanka, 2 singles and 1 doubles. we are watching the doubles match between Nishanta and Nimnet of Sri Lanka versus Aditya and Sandeep of India, where so far the Indians have taken a huge lead. And on the other two matches that are happening at the same time, the Indians are pretty close to the finish line also, with both Srinivas and Arif having won the first sets of their singles matches, and already they both have comfortable leads on the second set. So far this is turning out to be a one-sided affair, with India likely to run away with the trophy with a 3-0 tally, unless the Sri Lankans pull a rabbit out of the hat in the 11th hour. And they are entirely capable of doing so, Rahul.
That's right, Bala. I would never count the Sri Lankans out. We've seen what Nishanta can do. He's also the former world champion back in 2012, I believe. So he's totally capable of turning this around, and so are the other Sri Lankan players as well. It's not going to be easy though.
He's going for the queen. It'll be interesting to see what the next move is going to be. A phenomenal fine cut. That was a brilliant long cut attempt.
Here has an opportunity, Nimnet, to pull the black out, and he does so. And look at the finesse of that shot.
Perfect, just perfect. And he defends it perfectly behind the white. And now Arif has a decision to make. He would hope to, and that might just be the break that Nishanta was waiting for.
That was very uncharacteristic from Aditya. That's unexpected from Nishanta.
That's right, Rahul. Nishanta he appears to be a little off color. And the Indians extend the lead further, inching closer and closer to the finish line. In the other two matches, Arif of India has taken a huge 23-0 lead against Anas Ahmed of Sri Lanka, inches away from the finish line. And here too, Aditya and Sandeep are just a millimeter away from the finish line with a score of 24-1. If these two guys win the matches, it's game, set, match and championship for Team India.
That's right, Bala. Look at how the Indians have turned the whole set and the game in their favor. They were 2-10 3 boards ago, and now we are at 24-10, and that's the caliber of these players. They can change the game within minutes. They can really step up their game, and the fact that they had the first set in the bag gives them more incentive to go all out and play an offensive and a natural game.
That's right, Rahul. You know, Aditya was going for, there was a lucky turn by Sandeep, and he apologized to his opponents for that lucky pocket. This would be a beautiful shot if it goes.
Using the flat finger, middle finger spin grip, as they call it. Nicely done. Going for a head cut on the red. What we think would be a difficult coin has been used as a bomb to create an amazing position here. He has another bomb to use. That's a little unfortunate. Tried to move the white away and make some space and create a finish for himself. Some unforced errors here from the Sri Lankans.
Yeah, it looks like they're yet to fully get warmed up and settle down. There has been some speed issues with the coin stopping short of the pocket. And Indians have been on an all-out offense ever since the beginning of the game. They haven't given the Sri Lankans breathing room to settle down and get back in the game. Another uncharacteristic miss from Nishanta.
That's right, Bala. It's been really off color here. Shanta's not found his rhythm.
Beautiful shot by Sandeep. And if he pockets it,
And
there we go.
are.
Team India wins the match in 2 straight sets against Sri Lanka in the doubles match of the 3-match bout between these 2 great teams, Team India and the defending champions, Team Sri Lanka. So 1 down, at least 1 more to go, and it looks like the second match is over as well. Arif has beaten Anas Ahmed 2 straight as well, sets as well. So there we
right.
go, folks. Team India has emerged victorious in the team event format of the 6th Carrom World Cup, lifting the trophy, joining their sisters, where the women's team from Team India defeated their Sri Lankan counterparts on the women's division as well earlier today.
That's right. Just a flawless game today, I think, both from the women and the men contingent there from the Indian team. They were just looking in good touch. Really, I would say, a very flawless game. I got a chance to watch some of those games. They were just looked unbeatable and the deserved winners, I would say. And a good fight from Sri Lankans to make it to this far. They were the defending champions. I think they just could not show up today to that mark, right? And still, I would say a great show overall from both the finalists.
That's right, Rahul. So there we go, folks. That brings us to the end of this live stream. We have just one last event remaining, which is the singles championship for both the men's and women's divisions, which will take place tomorrow, 16th of November. The women's singles finals will take place at 8:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time,
That's right, Bala.
followed by the men's singles finals, which will happen later in the day at 12:30 p.m. again Pacific Standard Time. The women's singles finalists are Rashmi Kumari of India and Kazima Mahbub Basha, also of India. And on the men's side, the finalists are Muhammad Arif of India versus Srinivas Komarvelli of India. The stage is set for an exciting singles finals. Sorry about that, Rahul.
I can see your excitement, Bala,
I
here.
just couldn't
You just
contain
pulled
my
my mic
excitement.
off. I know, we are really excited for tomorrow's, and I think it's a blockbuster Saturday here in Bay Area. The whole of Bay Area, and across the US and across the world, I'm sure, is really excited to catch this game. And again, 8:30 a.m. Pacific time and 12 noon Pacific time. Tune in United States Carrom Association.
Yeah, tomorrow's finals will be live streamed for the North American audience in the Willow channel in USA and Canada, and for the rest of the world, tune in again on the SYNCO YouTube channel. Good night, folks.
Good night.